These are images of utter desperation, of families running out of food and water and in constant fear for their lives. The Yazidis have fled the militant Islamic State as fighters made more gains today despite several days of airstrikes against their positions by the United States. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Jonathan Rugman is one of the first Western journalists to ride on board an aid helicopter on the hazardous journey from the town of Zakka in Iraq, just across the border from Turkey, to the remote heights of Mount Sinjar, where thousands of Yazidis have sought refuge. He joins us now live. Jonathan.
Matt, I covered the last major Kurdish refugee crisis here back in 1991, and though this one is certainly not on that scale, the scenes I saw today were truly appalling. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Yazidi Kurds trapped on a bare mountainside for up to 10 days now. Number 10 Downing Street has announced that tornado jets will be deployed to the region to help with surveillance work, if necessary, to work out how many people are still trapped. But whatever the numbers, it was very clear to me today that hundreds would die if aid does not reach them in the next few days, or if they are not ferried out. Just 4 Iraqi army helicopters, 4 of them, took off today to rescue refugees. I was on one of them, and I have to say that when the helicopter touched down on Mount Sinjar, it almost triggered a riot.
It is an Iraqi military helicopter flying a mercy mission south of the river Tigris, across the desert into jihadist-controlled territory, in search of a people now being persecuted to death. And this is where they are hiding, the Sinjar mountain range, forbidding and vast. This, our first glimpse of Yazidi refugees seeking sanctuary in searing 33-degree heat. We saw some camped out in a dry riverbed with only a tarpaulin for cover. Others had found a road in the middle of this wilderness, a road they dared not take. Instead, they waved at us, desperate for food and water to be dropped. Some of it may have smashed on the rocks below, but with so many deliveries to make, our helicopter did not stop to check. Then it touched down for 5 precious but awful minutes, and the scramble to rescue as many as we could began. An old man hurtled himself towards the door, even as boxes of aid were still heading out. Small children became trapped. I found myself dragging them, drooping and dehydrated, towards the back. This helicopter in such danger itself that one of the crew began kicking and punching to keep the refugees at bay. The bodies are piled on top of one another, but amid much screaming and shouting, 25 Yazidis have got out alive. And then the crying starts. We have left hundreds behind. How many in total are still on the mountain is impossible to say. From below, jihadists opened fire on us, and a machine gunner replied. Even here, thousands of feet up, these Yazidis who have lost everything cannot call themselves safe.
These are dangerous helicopter missions, and there aren't enough of them. But the risk is that unless more aid flights take people off this mountain, then hundreds, if not thousands, may die.
So these are the fortunate few. Many of them told us they had been trapped for 10 days. And far below, those who begged us to take them, but never made it aboard. Jonathan Rugman, Channel 4 News, over Mount Sinjar in Iraq.